This system is turned all the way down, yet we are getting 140-degree air.
This actuator moves where it needs to be.
They almost look completely identical.
Last clip.
Well, today I'm really excited because on this 2004 Acura MDX, we have to fix a blend door, and that is a dash-out $3,000 job. Just kidding. That's what my mother-in-law's been told in the past, but this, actually, I'm pretty certain, is a very simple fix. The air conditioning in this vehicle does work. However, we are getting the dreaded heat in the front and cold air in the back at the same time. Now let's take a look at how that's possible. Here on the passenger side, looking underneath the dash, we can see this actuator right here. Now these blend door actuators are fairly common to fail, and thankfully it is very conveniently located. And also thankfully, I was able to find the exact replacement part online, and it cost under $150. The brand is Dorman, and the part seems to be pretty well made. And of course, I'll put a link for this down in the description box below. Okay, so how did I determine that this was the actual problem and it wasn't something deeper? I have this thermometer here inside the vent, and you can see we're about 140 degrees air coming out of there. But if we look up here on the controls, you can see we are in auto low. This system is turned all the way down, yet we are getting 140-degree air. Now to contrast that, you can see this multimeter here is reading 63.1 degree air out of the vents back here. So this air feels nice and cool, and this air at the same exact time feels blisteringly hot. Now under the dash here, you can see the actuator, and you can see those gears up there, the white pieces. So looking at that actuator, I can adjust the temperature here and watch if those gears move. And right now I'm adjusting that temperature all the way down. It's all the way low, and this gear is not moving whatsoever. So with that temperature adjusted all the way down, and yet this gear did not move whatsoever, it means it's stuck in the heat position. So I'm gonna go ahead and compare these two parts and make sure they look exactly alike. You can see we have the motor kind of bulging out here. We have this dial here, this plastic dial in the middle. We have the plug there, and that's pretty much exactly what we see with the original part. It definitely does look like a match. So let's plug in this new part and see what happens. I'm going to adjust the temperature. I'm adjusting it up, and there goes that actuator, moving things exactly like it should. Let's do it again. I'm gonna adjust it down, and there it goes. This actuator moves where it needs to be. So now that we can see that this actuator is just frozen in place, we know this is our problem. Not only that, but during my testing phase, of course off camera, I was able to hit this actuator and have it actually move. Sometimes it would move a little bit, sometimes it would move halfway, and I would have to help it the rest of the way. But I verified before this video that this was the problem. So I'm gonna remove this now with a 7mm socket. This little kick panel here is also gonna need to be removed, and that just pulls right out, held in with these little clips. And the reason I had to remove that side panel is because one of the screws is located behind this light here, and you can't remove the light without removing that bolt, and you know the drill. You can't remove the bolt without removing the side panel. And the bolt here for the bracket is a 10mm. Now before I removed this actuator, what I did was, because I know this one was stuck in the heat position, when I plugged in the new actuator to the green plug here, I put that in the heat position as well and then unplugged it. So I know my new actuator is going to be in the correct position to hook up in this exact situation that we have going on with these arms and everything back here. Here we go. Okay. So the white arm, as I suspected, came right out, but now we have to figure out the other arm up there. Well, you can see I got it removed, and if you look at the little rectangular piece there, there's just simply a slot in it, and that metal arm kind of slots right in there. As soon as I pushed that black piece back,
the arm just fell right out of the hole.
All right, well, here is the original factory actuator. One thing that's concerning me right away is the fact that this has so many pins inside, whereas our new one only has 5 pins. Now, looking up at the plug that plugs into it, you can see there are only 5 wires, and they are organized in the exact way of our new actuator. So what makes sense to me is the fact that this is probably a universal actuator that's used in multiple places that needs to have pins for different plugs that have more pins. This replacement unit, on the other hand, is literally meant for this 5-pin plug, so I think we're good. And looking at both of these actuators side by side, you can see they almost look completely identical. And here they are flipped over on the other side, again, almost identical. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna open this thing up and see if we can identify the problem that it was having. But first, let's install our replacement.
And last but not least is this plug. And our new replacement actuator is fully installed and everything fit perfect.
Well, let's start this thing up. Put the AC on auto, remove it from high all the way down to low, full auto low. Well, I can already confirm that the actuator is working. I saw it work. Everything is working perfectly fine with both heat and cool. If we look at our thermometer here, while we're not cooled down all the way, we're just under 60 degrees.
All right, so right now we're in AC mode. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to heat, and we'll see that thing move in just a second. There we go. Look at that. Now we're gonna go back down to AC. There we go. Doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. This is awesome.
All right, here at the bench, we're gonna see if we can pull this thing apart to try to determine if the motor was just weak or if there's some gears broken inside. Last clip, there we go. There we go. Let's pull this thing apart. Okay, well, right off the bat, nothing seems to look broken. Well, after just kind of looking at this for a second, I really would assume that this motor is probably the culprit. You know, maybe the original factory grease and everything is kind of dried out, and so that can't be helping things much. I am going to keep this for backup just in case, because you never know. It's good to look inside of these things and kind of get a good idea of, you know, what's going on. Why did this fail? And in this case, it seems to just be simply this motor. Okay, we're in the car driving, trying to see how this air conditioning temperature is doing. And it looks like we're getting down to about 50 degrees as we drive along. And on top of that, we've confirmed multiple times that that new blend door actuator is functioning properly. I now have this Acura up on ramps. I'm doing an oil change, changing the air filter, things like that. So I do hope you enjoyed this rather common blend door actuator fix. We went from a quoted $3,000 to maybe about $150 fix in just a few minutes of our time. Anyways, if you did get something out of this video, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really does help this video and the channel. And also, if you've watched this far and you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I'm Jimmy for One Road, and I will see you in the next one.